obviously you got to cognitively stimulate. Talk to me about your use of nicotine.
I was always like, nicotine is bad for you. That's just, smoking's bad, chewing's bad, nicotine's
Yeah,
bad.
that
You can
was
have a
my
soda with it.
understanding as well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so move on. That's okay. I know that.
Don't do it.
And then I had smoked cigars in my 20s. I did a movie where like the sound guy was really into cigars. It was down in Atlanta. There was a place called the Tinder Box, and cigars had not yet taken off at that point. So I could buy a box of 50 punch cigars, Maduro, Rothschild, 50, and I would buy 50 of them for $100. And every single night, I'd light up a cigar and have a little scotch, and red wine, beer, whatever the alcohol was, and the cigar. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I bought the little cigars, still good quality. And those were my like rollerblading cigars. So if I was rollerblading in the park, I'd have one of those, the little 15-minute or, 10, 15-minute, or as opposed to hour long cigar. And I like to burn cigars cool. So, if you're rolling around the heat, and it makes the
Yeah.
burn hotter. But it's interesting because nicotine never grabbed me. So I can quit cold turkey on nicotine and I don't feel any physical like jonesing or any of that stuff. So that's never been an issue for me. And I think that that's probably not the case for many people. Many people are going to feel like physically addicted to nicotine.
Yeah.
So fast forward, right? I stopped smoking cigars, and um, Andrew Huberman. Okay, I'm listening to Joe Rogan and Andrew Huberman and all these people, and he starts talking about the nootropic benefits of nicotine. And then people say, oh, well, COVID, the smokers did not die disproportionately because, there's antibacterial and antiviral qualities to nicotine. So while the delivery mechanism of this, substance is the poison, the substance itself actually is very good. And I just was like, okay, now I have permission to explore this. And I began with the gum, and I was extremely careful. Like I bought the 2 milligram
Yep.
Nicorette, and I bought Nicorette brand because a friend told me that, it's better than the generic. And I cut it into quarters. Okay. So I would have a 0.5 milligram uh, piece of Nicorette, and I'd put it in. I'd get that little tingle, right? And
Hmm.
I was super careful because I'm still like, okay, this is pure nicotine. I don't want to go into something where I can't stop it. What happens if there's an earthquake and I don't have access to nicotine and I need
Yeah.
it? Like those thoughts went through my mind.
God forbid.
And and then what I did was I experimented with it. I stopped it to make sure, like, okay, is this something's going to grab me? No, I can exist just fine without it. But then I started to notice, like, holy shit, I feel sharper. I can connect dots in my mind. I can riff and I can just go and I can,
Yeah.
speak. And I love to construct words and thoughts and ideas. I love it. So then I overdo everything I do. So fast forward, I'm up to 4 milligrams, 25 pieces a day, putting it in before I go to sleep so I can wake up with the tingle. And and I'm not exaggerating. Like this is just who I am. And then on the jujitsu mat, I started getting like violently ill. Like as soon as exertion would hit, I'd be like, oh my God, I'd run off the mat and dry heave for 3 or 4 minutes and feel horrible. And I'm thinking to myself, I hope this isn't the Nicorette. I hope it's, I knew
Yeah.
it would probably be. And so I quit the Nicorette cold turkey. And, again, I didn't suffer this like, oh, I need it.
Yeah.
I
Right.
just the benefit. And then it was like, oh, well, I'm not getting sick. I'm getting better. And it was like, okay. And then I tried the Zins. I don't like Zin. And one of the guys in my office swears that his hair falls out when he was taking Zin. Now, I'm not trying to condemn Zyn, but I'm not a big fan of the spike in a pouch. The Nicorette was like a nice curve where the dosage came in and like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it was just a better arc, right?
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree. I use the lozenges too from Lucy versus I mean Zins are okay, but you're right. They do kind of just stop and then that's it.
Yeah, and then you're like biting on the pouch, trying to
Yeah.
squeeze the last bits out. And
Yeah.
anyway, um, then I was like, well, I'll just smoke cigars again. And I can't light up a cigar in the lab. Chris is like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And worse or better, my daughter just absolutely does not want me smoking cigars. And if your daughter doesn't want you smoking cigars and you see her every day, well, you can't smoke cigars. Like, there's no way you can smoke cigars and then tell people that you don't smoke
Yeah.
cigars.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't work, right? So I started to just say, all right, well, let me chew on the cigar. I had a college football coach who always had a cigar and it was never lit. It was just chomping on a cigar. And so I went back to JR Tobacco, right? JR Cigars, buy them online. That's where I used to buy them, in my 20s. And I fell in love with just chewing a cigar because I get to dose it. It's not in my mouth right now, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I just dose it, right? And I'm here. And then once it gets a little, soggy and the flavor, the effects have gone out of that little piece, well, I just chop it off, and now it's a brand new cigar.
Ah,
And this one,
efficiency.
well, this particular one here has it's just my favorite because when I cut it, matter of fact, I'm going to cut it now. It's about due.
Go for it.
What happens is that fresh cut, the first touch on my tongue, it has like those crystals where it's just like, ooh, and I just feel so sharp. And then this is fascinating. I drank coffee and caffeine, and I'd have it all day long because I liked it a lot. And the peristalsis in the morning, just like Pavlov dog, like, if I smelled coffee, oh, good, I'm going to go, do my morning
Yeah.
ritual
Right.
here, get rid of yesterday, you know what I mean? As
Yeah.
opposed to carry it around for a few more hours. That's not fun. Have a shitty day that way.
Right.
So click, ready? Click.
Boom.
And now that right there, that's literally as if this thing was just a brand new shorter cigar. And I just, at first little bit where I get that, that is like, it's just, it's pleasurable for me. I think, am I taking a risk? Maybe. I don't know. But if every day is better, and I would imagine it's low risk, the men in my family don't die of cancer and they don't die of heart attacks. We die with our brain,
Yeah.
Alzheimer's out. We can't
Yeah. Yeah.
remember. That's how we go.
Yeah.
So this is going to help me in that department, take risk in the other department. I think genetically I'm more inclined to go nootropic and take my chances on the other things. And I'm not combusting it. So, I mean, the only toxins in this would be fermented tobacco leaves that have developed some, chemicals or whatever's in there that might not be the best for you. But I don't know. And who knows how long I'll do it. But I don't drink coffee anymore. I haven't had coffee in 3 days
Wow.
and I don't miss it.
I
I
like,
don't not have a caffeinated beverage today.
well, I like the combination of the caffeine and nicotine.
Well, a
Like,
lot of people do. I
it's
mean,
fucking great.
well, a lot of people do because they want a cigarette and a cup of coffee. I have a
Yeah.
lot of
Right.
friends of mine. That's the routine.
Yeah.
But
Right. Of
especially the ones who live over in Europe, because
course.
everybody smokes over there compared to
Yeah.
here.